we are all tech nerds. We like the attack paths. We like seeing all the red teams owning Active Directory by exploiting one of them. And it's really easy to get distracted and sidetracked by one of those quote-unquote escalations. But mitigating them in a managed fashion, again, that is mostly sustainable, is something that very few people do.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean Dubey, Principal Technologist Americas at Semperis and host of the HIP podcast. This week we are at our annual conference, the HIP conference in Charleston, South Carolina. We spend a lot of time talking about misconfigurations and known vulnerabilities in production Active Directory environments and how to fix them. What's not talked about as much are attack paths or attack path management. Or in other words, what are the steps a non-privileged user can take to elevate themselves to tier 0 privileges? And probably in ways you have no idea. For example, a group policy over the domain controller's OU may be owned by a group that has another group in it that has other nested groups in it that have members of the help desk. Guess what? Help desk now has control over domain controllers. So that's the idea of an attack path. But it's critical to learn what these paths are and how to remediate them where possible and at least monitor where it's not possible to eliminate them. My guest today is Daniel Stefaniak, self-titled IAM guy at JPMorgan Chase. Daniel's an IT architect, consultant, and technical program manager specializing in Active Directory and Entra ID. He's also a recognized industry leader in identity and access management and cybersecurity, with extensive experience designing and deploying large-scale cloud-based IAM and CIAM solutions supporting millions of users. My first experience with Daniel were at the Microsoft MVP Summits, where the MVPs on campus could count on Daniel providing unvarnished truth about the real workings in answer to our questions. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, sunlight is the best disinfectant, so why should we hide anything?
Well, there you go. So your HIP session is titled AD Attack Path Management, How to Stop the Insanity. So what's the insanity that you're talking about?
So we are all tech nerds. We like the attack paths. We like seeing all the red teams owning Active Directory by exploiting one of them. And it's really easy to get distracted and sidetracked by one of those quote-unquote escalations. They literally drive you insane because they derail your regular work. They get your boss's boss involved, it's not conducive to any kind of productive environment and good practices. Again, I blame conferences like Black Hat that we like looking at all the cool things that are exploitation paths, but mitigating them in a managed fashion, again, that is mostly sustainable, is something that very few people do. And we took that project upon ourselves at my current employer. Again, to do it sustainably and in a managed fashion.
To have a sustained attack path management, ongoing, not just look at it, poke at it, run away.
Yeah, look, poke, this is super ugly, let's fix it and not look at anything else. Let's have a little bit of a holistic view around how bad a situation are you in when it comes to attack paths and their numbers and exposure and escalation privileges and things like that.
Okay. So maybe as a way to start is to ask, what are the assumptions that people make about attack path management versus the realities that you have encountered in your practical experience?
So some of those assumptions I personally had. Some of those assumptions were verified, came from the market vendors pitching solutions. One of the big ones, again, that I personally had, because with my cleared eyes, I thought, hey, we can solve all of them completely. We can have a completely secure environment forever and ever. And it turns out, no, business needs to operate. You need to have a risk program, and there will always be something that will be able to escalate. Also, the environments live, they get configured, you have change requests, and there is at some point you need to get familiar that you will be treading water with some paths being there that you will never be done. It can be discouraging because sometimes we like having the work being done and move on and have something fun, new and fun. But when it comes to escalation paths and attack path management, we came to the conclusion that we're probably never going to be done.
And so all sorts of analogies come to mind, one of which is like sweeping back the ocean with a broom, but yet is your environment always tends towards entropy.
Yes.
It always tends to be.
That's physics, that's first law of thermodynamics. The entropy will always win. Sometimes we also came up against some people pitching us, hey, let's solve this problem with zero trust because it was a buzzword before all the AI stuff. And it turns out Active Directory being so ancient at this point, you would know.
Because I'm ancient at this point.
Yeah, that it's basically orthogonal. It's a walled castle with a moat. Best you can do is throw things over the wall or bring things into the castle and make moat as deep and walls as humanly possible. I'm referring to my notes.
Sure. So you mentioned the castle and the moat.
Yes.
What I've been recently talking about, an analogy that I've latched onto, is that of what's called a barbican in a castle.
Yep.
And the barbican is between the portcullis and the entrance, and it's a long channel with arrow slits on either side before you go into the courtyard.
It's not really arrow slits. These are there to pour hot oil on the invaders, but that's a little bit of macabre.
Yeah, various kinds of badness. But the point being that everybody has to go through that.
Yep.
So this is what we're talking about.
That's what in banking industry we call controls.
Right.
To get in, you need to behave in a proper way.
Yes.
A couple of other things we learned the hard way again. I tried and my team tried doing the attack path management as a side gig a little bit because we have the skills, so we know how to run the tools, and we try doing it as part of our regular duties. And it turns out it's so consuming that you realistically, if you want to do it properly, you can't. It needs to become your full-time job. You cannot be an Active Directory admin or an architect owner of the service and run an attack path management program on the side. You need dedicated team to do it, at least few folk.
Well, it makes sense, and because it isn't just merely seeing the attack paths. If you find the attack paths, you've got to go find the apps. You have to find the app owners. You have to work with them to remediate it where possible. If you can't remediate it, you have to come up with ways to do monitoring of it.
Yeah, and it becomes, and again, a full-time job, and you need to have varying levels of skill set on the team. You need a good PM to keep reins on you. You need someone that understands Active Directory, and it's a through line to our next point. You cannot do it with a specific tool. There is no one tool that is going to solve you forever, because I hate to break it to you, you're a snowflake. Your environment is a special snowflake. Most of the tools on the market are built for most, not for all, like everything cloud or any kind of cybersecurity tool. So just you are not going to find a technical silver bullet in a tooling that is going to solve you. That's again something that we learned as well.
So if you're looking for a tool for realizing, okay, our viewers here say, okay, that sounds like this is something that I really need to look into.
Yes.
So you go to your favorite, nowadays, the way you go to your favorite AI, and you say, favorite AI, what are some attack path tools that I should be looking at? And it'll spit back, but what sort of criteria should people use to help?
So the fun thing is that everything on the market you can try. You can try it yourself, and that's the first thing I would recommend to a practitioner. If you want to decide to approach the problem, just try the tools, see which one you like, go with your gut feeling. Most of us are practitioners, so we have an intuition about selecting things like that. If the UI doesn't agree with you, you will not be efficient using it. Be prepared that none of them will not be 100% fitted for your environment, your processes, procedures, the technology that you have deployed, virtualization platform, monitoring, none of them. So be prepared for that. Do not expect perfection. When you're thinking about choosing a tool, again, it needs to be efficient. So think about performance. When you look at your domain controller, you remember old domain controller sizing guides. Then when you look at your domain controller sizing guide, double that performance that you need. That's going to be the performance that you will need to run the tool at all. It's like old MIM days. You need to double your RAM, double your CPU under your domain controller so you can pull everything in and then analyze on top of it. So basically have double copy of your AD inside of your tooling.
So so what you're saying is these tools tend to be memory and resource intensive.
Yeah, it's basically like running 2 domain controllers at once most of the time. That's what, again, we found out. And you need to also answer a couple of questions. Do you care about cloud? Do you care about Entra, Okta, Ping1? Do you care about that part of your infrastructure identity fabric?
Hopefully so.
Again, it's a choice. It's, if you want to start slow, you might not want to go there. If you want to drink from the proverbial fire hose and see out everything and then stop in your tracks for a few minutes, yes. You need to decide, do you care about your IDPs? Because authentication is not only Kerberos, not only NTLM, hopefully not for not so long, but SAML, OIDC. Do you care about that connection?
Right.
It's, again, decision point, because some of it will impact your tool selection.
So talking about that, let's talk about results for a second.
Yep.
And so you get the tool of choice, or you look at multiple tools, and you run the results, and you look at the results, and the blood drains from your head because of the results.
That's what I call a big ugly. Almost every single environment that was never looked at by one of those tools was something that I call big ugly. Folk at, again, Forest Druid and Spectre Ops with Bloodhound call them large default group findings. Basically, you will have a path that leads from domain users or authenticated users it might be like 6 hops long, but you will find one or few of those. Good thing is, those are almost never by design.
Right.
Finding those will help you seeing, again, will show you that your environment is in not great shape, but the fix is a low-hanging fruit. That will help you a lot, how the tools and processes support fixing that kind of big uglies. If you don't have one of those in your net new environment or your environment that you never was looked at by one of those attack path things, I'm very jealous. I want to work with your team.
or run another tool, and it may find what the other one didn't see.
I'm pretty sure that all of them these days have one of those detections. That's a fairly fundamental one.
So look for the big uglies, or in a Pareto analysis, 20% will get you 80% of the results.
Yes, it's like 3% of the work is going to give you 97% of the result. It's even more tilted than that.
Which is gratifying. I mean,
yes.
When you've done that, and gratifying and horrifying, because the horrifying has been there up until that point.
Again, it's horrifying that it's fine because you weren't owned, right? You weren't compromised.
Right.
Being compromised by the red team, it doesn't count.
Right. Right.
It's just a drill exercise at the end of the day.
So in your presentation, you talked about OKRs.
Yep.
And so what is an OKR? And how do you use it in attack path management?
So OKRs are a little bit of a better version of KPIs. As technologists had KPIs because it's just, hey, a number to show that I've been busy. But OKR stands for objective key results.
Okay.
So we don't care about the work that you did. We care only about the outcome of the work that you did. So in attack path, by looking at attack paths and scratching your head and doing research how to fix them is not constructive work. If you want to have impactful work, you need to look at a number that you want to measure your risk of your environment by, and then you want to lower your risk naturally, right? You want to perform some hygiene tasks, remediation tasks, cutting the attack paths, isolating them, cauterizing them, if you may. And lowering that risk number is an excellent OKR, right? You think that I physically can prove and show by a number to anyone that we lowered by risk by number of percent, number of accounts, number of nodes, number of findings. So lowering the exposure is, in my experience, a fantastic key result. It's just choosing the number is the hard part because, again, you're a little bit of a snowflake. it will be reflective of your environment. Most people go with, hey, I have fewer escalation paths close to tier 0. And it's good because you will have repeat offenders. When you have repeat offenders, you will start seeing patterns. You will start reaching out to the teams that are responsible for managing the application. And you can help them make their applications better. And it builds camaraderie. You have some fun at work, and then you can reminisce about, hey, you remember how poorly we did this thing 2 years ago?
That makes a lot of sense. So, as you said, we've got the big uglies, we've got the project aspect of it, which is how do you measure success,
Yep.
which is what management wants
Yes.
to know. How are you showing progress? How are you reducing or staying ahead of the entropy
Yep.
in the environment? So, what general recommendations do you have from your own experience in managing and doing this?
So I can tell you that you need an entire team. Doing this like with one person that is highly technical is not going to work. You need a PM that will put arenas on you, that will live in Jira tickets, because again, it's all about the sprints and epics to do it sustainably. Then you need someone that knows how and understands Active Directory, because attack types have recommendations about how to log them out, close them. Most, again, tools give you step-by-step guides how to remove them, but there might be something else that can be done.
Right.
There might be alternatives. So you need at least a PM, a person that knows Active Directory on an old quote 300 level, and someone that can do some of custom coding or custom tooling for you, because more often than not, you just cross-reference it, things that you have in your CyberArk instance, for example, or in your SailPoint entitlement management tooling for privileged access management. You want to cross-reference those, and you don't want to copy-paste Excel spreadsheets all the time.
Right.
So
right.
that, again, if you're fine with copy-paste, that's fine, but long-term sustainable, that you don't burn yourself out, you're not waking up in the middle of night because you have a problem that you don't know how to solve, and you have some redundancies.
Right.
Again, having a team helps.
Got it. One final question, actually.
Yep.
Our viewers are probably wondering what that little white thing is that you've been waving around in front of your face the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you show the other side so you can see? There we go. There's the HIP podcast patch.
Yep.
Available on demand, and he gets one for having been on the podcast.
So if you want one, just crash one of Sean's podcasts.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thanks again, Daniel. Appreciate
All right.
it. Always
Thank you
a
for having
pleasure. Always a pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.